Today, right now, this is a life-saving action. You've got to get in your body. Today, right now, this is a life-saving action. You've got to get in your body. What happens when we're not? The fear gets amplified. We don't know what's true, what's not. What do I need to do? Who do I listen to? I have no idea. I'm so confused. And of course, the physiology that reflects that, where our body's in so much chaos. Fear, when you buy into fear and you live in fear, you can't know truth. You can't know what actions or behaviors will restore health. You cannot possibly know. You must come back into the body and breathe to relax your physical body before you could ever have that awareness. Your body is your portal.
I'm so excited to have you here. It's so nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. Yeah, I think it's really cool what you're doing. So I think it's a really great resource.
Thank you. Same to you. If you could, tell us a couple words about you and what was your journey like from regular mainstream Western medicine to a little bit of outside the box.
Yes. I started out in emergency medicine. So I was board certified in ER at Emory University and trained at a really intense, level 1 trauma center in the inner city. So a lot of critical care medicine, a lot of trauma. And it was kind of the perfect place to be for the allopathic model where we're trying to fix the problem. I had been in an osteopathic medical school, which is really more about how the mind and body are connected, how the body heals itself. So I had that as my foundation to begin with. So, after residency, I practiced full-time ER for a few years, and I realized how much I wanted to make my career really be about what makes us heal. Because there's so many people that were coming, even in the emergency room, who didn't have organic medical issues as the primary cause of what was going on. They had, maybe an emotional component or, toxins, nutrition, all kinds of other things. And I don't, I think we all know that that's not the role for allopathic medicine, fix the problem, fight the disease. For chronic medical illness, it really has very little to offer, and we need a different approach of support the health, ignite the health, help the body work through what it's working through and heal itself. So, that was always something I was really passionate about, and I established a practice in mind-body medicine to share what I had studied for years and years, and I had my own journey with chronic illness and found that same thing for myself. There were all kinds of things that allopathic doctors were trying to figure out and really no answers whatsoever. So I had kind of moved more toward what's going on and having a conversation with my body and getting some clarity and really needing to get present to my wisdom before that illness would resolve. So, having had severe fatigue and severe joint pain and all kinds of weird kind of autoimmune-ish syndrome, it was pretty hard to get pushed around through the medical system with no answers and then find I was all on my own with this. So I brought a lot of resources to other women, mostly with chronic autoimmune disease, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, that really make a tremendous difference where, mainstream medicine, that's not really the role for what it's here to play. So I've now got an international practice online at drkimd.com and resourcing people with chronic illness, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, thyroid disease, autoimmune, all that whole universe of these vague, weird syndromes that haven't been really understood when we look at the body as purely physical. And I've just dedicated myself to that, and it's been really an amazing journey.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I could relate on so many levels. I'm also an osteopathic physician, so I know exactly the training that we went through, and even remember going into the osteopathic medical school because it was more holistic. But then, and tell me if I'm wrong, but then, we go from osteopathic school to regular residencies, to regular hospital system, to regular mainstream Western medicine, and a lot of the holistic stuff is forgotten. So yes. Unfortunately, even a lot of osteopaths, and it's sad, forget to use a lot of those tools that we learn, but also it's because of the system we're not really supported in using those tools. And
it's true. Unless you specifically go on to do a residency in that, you don't necessarily cultivate your tools of what supports the body in healing. And I had studied mind-body medicine for decades. And part of the reason I went to medical school was because I understood this mind-body connection and was really passionate about what can we do to help the body heal. There are a lot of examples of like spontaneous healing, or, a spontaneous reversal of disease, or someone has cancer and then there's a quantum shift and they don't have any evidence of cancer cells anywhere in the body. And in the conventional system, it's kind of just considered an outlier. Hey, we don't understand this, so let's put it over there. But for me, it was very much like, whoa, what's happening there? I want to actually understand it, and how can we reproduce that reliably to create that result for others?
Yeah,
it's a very different question.
And I actually wanted to ask if you have any specific examples, maybe from your work of.
Oh yeah. I actually the other day, so I do still see some people individually, online, virtually, and most of the people I work with are working with me in the groups. I have a group program called Embracing Health, but this person I did see privately, and she had. It's funny how many names there were for what she had, but they were all really vague and not very well understood. So like dysautonomia, dysregulated nervous system, mast cell overreactivity syndrome. There were like a whole bunch of things. And basically what was happening, and she had Pott's disease diagnosis, her nervous system was really fired up. And so the autonomic nervous system, which is like your automatic functions of like how fast your heart's beating, what's going on with your blood pressure, what's happening with your breathing, all the things that you don't have to think about, and they're run through your brain and your autonomic nervous system. For her, were really fired up and flared up. So the immune system was being triggered and was overreactive. Her heart would go racing at like 165 beats per minute. She couldn't catch her breath. She'd actually pass out and have these spells where she totally lost control of her body. And for years, doctors were trying to figure this out. No one had any answers, and she felt really hopeless and kind of like, what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? Why can't I figure this out? Is it me? Others telling her like, this is in your head. And then she felt like, whoa, there's like this real wrongness here. And really no answers whatsoever. So it just got worse and worse. But when we looked, there were multiple issues propagating that fear response in her body. So the amygdala is where, there's the trigger of fight or flight. Her body basically was living in like amped up fight or flight for years and years and years. And there's only a matter of time until you begin having these exact kinds of symptoms. So it makes total sense from the perspective I'm in, looking at the brain and how does it get triggered and what's happening with that fight or flight mechanism with our emotions, our beliefs, our history, our lineage. Like there's so many energetic factors that play into that. And she had a profound experience, was able to finally see like what that fear really was and meet it and allow it to resolve from her body. So it's like a program, running the system, running the show. It's not conscious, but when you release that program, your nervous system can settle right back down. It's no longer what's driving your system. And this is such a profound foundational piece for our health, our reproductive system, our hormones, our endocrine system. Everything is regulated by this system. So it affects everything. She had a really, really incredible kind of like realizing and seeing things she'd never seen before, feeling things she'd never felt before, and becoming aware of exactly what was going on. And when we resolved that in her body afterward, like she was tingling head to toe and felt like light, free, felt completely different. So that was one example.
Any specific tools that you use to help?
Yeah, we can review some things here too, and kind of give a really basic tool that I've used and shared called the instant elevation, that anyone can do anytime, anywhere. It's in my book, the MindBody Tool Kit, which you can get on Amazon or at my website at drkimd.com. There's 10 tools you can use anytime, anywhere to align and harmonize your body. And this is powerful. Like a lot of women have thyroid disease or reproductive problems or digestive problems, anxiety. I've seen so many women get off thyroid medication, anxiety medication, depression medication from using this approach. So it's really, really powerful.
Beautiful. Amazing.
Yeah, so we can do some little integration here for our viewers.
That'll be lovely. Let's do it.
Okay, so the first piece is to become aware of your body, connect, tune in. When we're moving through our life, a lot of times we don't realize how much we're disconnected, that we're like paying attention to others.
Head up.
Yeah, living from here. And especially as women, like, you're going to get it done. You take care of the family. You kind of like develop this way of going through life where you're taking care of it and you're on it, and there's other people you care about and you're getting them handled, and if you have children, so it becomes this chronic state where I'm just on, I am engaged, I'm at it. But this actually not only dysregulates the nervous system, but it brings us out of connection with ourselves. So if we can bring the attention back into ourselves, we're actually more effective at running our life, more effective at assisting others, more effective at doing all the things that are really important to us. So bringing your attention back from these like 4 places where we can get disconnected. One is the future. And if you think of it like, here you are off in the future. I hope this happens. I hope that doesn't happen. Oh, that's going to go this way. So let me make sure I take care of this. Your energy, you can't access your power in the now when your energy's off in the future. And so where your attention goes is where your energy flows, and your body will feel it. Like you'll immediately register chemically, hormonally, psychologically, emotionally when you do this. So when you're off in the future on the next thing, your body has a shift. Your physical body goes into a different state that ultimately becomes pretty toxic to your health.
And when we go into the future, most of the time it's into the negative future. We don't go most of the time into the positive possibility.
It's true. But even like when people go into the positive, like when it's an escape, like you're off in the future, your body can only live in the now. And you could feel joy about the future in the now. But what happens is we're trying to escape what we're actually feeling. And it's like, oh, let me just be positive. It will be better. And we go off in the positive future. It's the same thing. It's an abandonment of self. So we feel that abandonment, and the body physiologically registers that with all kinds of stress hormones and inflammatory cascades and changes in the brain. So even if you're like, oh, it'll get better. I want it to be like this. Oh, I hope this happens. And you do this like, let's be positive thing. It's the same physiologic response we see in the body chemically. So what actually is like the antidote to that, which we'll do here, to bring your attention back into the now. It won't always feel comfortable, which is the whole reason we escape in the first place, right? Let me get on my device. Oh, let me check my email. Let me go and talk to so-and-so. What's actually happening is where trying to escape what we're actually feeling, which is the whole point of this exercise. Is like, I'm going to begin to feel what I'm feeling, even if it's uncomfortable, even if there's fear or grief coming up, because that's exactly what lets these energies release. The other place, of course, we escape to and disconnect is we go to the past. Now, this is not a conscious process. This is, oh, I can't believe I did this thing, or why did she do that to me? Or, oh, can you believe he said that? I know people I've worked with who are living in spaces like 20 years ago, still playing the records of this thing that happened, or I got hit by a car, I can't believe it, or, abuse that's happened that's not complete. Like, we've all had stuff that when we were younger, maybe wasn't exactly how we really would have wanted it to be. But if you're not complete with that, you're going to find those programs are still living in your body right now. And for your physical body, it's literally like that trauma is actively happening right now. So your body's depleted, exhausted, inflamed, aging, because that physiology is currently running right now, even if it happened 30 years ago. So how do we complete the past and pull our energy back to the now, where here I am sitting here, maybe feeling some uncomfortable things or not, but I'm okay. I'm breathing and I can get present. The other two places are other people. What do they need from me? I can't believe they said this to me. Who do they need me to be? What are their expectations? What will they think if? And so I don't necessarily consciously register it, but I fall in line with what I think others or society or my partner requires me to be. What do they want me to be? What do they expect of me? And so we live out these roles in the assumption that, well, I have to hold it together. I have to be this. And then the last one is my own identity of who I think I am. I'm a 47-year-old, I always forget how old I am, but that happens when you get to a certain age, woman, so I'm a woman.
That's why.
It's because it's what?
Because you feel young at heart.
Right, it's just meaningless. So you have this idea like, well, because I'm a woman, or because I'm of this age, or because I'm a mother, or I'm a doctor, and therefore, I know a lot of doctors I've worked with who have these conclusions about what they can or cannot do because they're a doctor.
Yeah.
I went mountain biking yesterday, and I got trachea is like really inflamed.
Oh no.
Yeah, back at it this season. So when we do that, we kind of go into this context of all of it is mental archives. What I think I have to be or do or say, or how I think I have to live my life. If you ever catch yourself saying, oh, I have to, da-da-da-da-da-da, you're running a program, right? Well, there's no have to. I choose to, or I choose not to. Claim your power back. Mm-hmm. So the first thing we'll do in this exercise is just get present to your body. And so if you close your eyes and relax your shoulders and breathe, and just bring your attention to the middle of your chest. Relax your shoulders and just slightly slow and slightly soften your breathing, deepen your breathing. So even just a little bit will go a very long way. So just relaxing and relaxing your shoulders, that lets the breath come out of the upper chest and down into the lower chest and belly, which is deeply restorative to the nervous system, deeply rebalancing to your entire body. And so just let your eyes close and bring your attention into your body. And so you can just pull your energy back from any of these spaces and places where you may know or not know you're off in the future, past, vested in what other people think, or playing out these programs of identities that you've bought into about what you really are. And let yourself just, you can even put your hand on your heart, call all of your energy, all of the parts of those things that is truly you, back from those places. to your body right here, right now. So just pull your energy in. Now, it's something simple. Just focus your attention on your heart. And if you think you don't know how to do this, let that go as well. Pull your energy back. Feel the space of your heart physically. Breathe and bring your awareness to this area. And then just shift your breathing. This is kind of the second piece. Let your breath slow and deepen. And as best you can, let the breath come into the belly. When we're in fight or flight breathing, it rouses up the nervous system into those patterns. When we just simply relax for a moment, this is what rebalances the autonomic nervous system. So even if those programs are there, even if there's some fear, whatever is okay. Whatever you observe is okay. And at the same time, slow and deepen your breathing. And see if you can soften your belly so the breath comes all the way down to the belly. This is actually the way your body is designed to breathe. So relax your shoulders and just let the breath deepen. So this is part of what allows the healing to happen. You're not doing the healing. You're setting up the space to shift your awareness, which is the first part we did, and shift your breathing, which is this second part, so that restoration can happen, so that healing, rebalancing of the brain, release of these old patterns of fight or flight and fear, and let all of it dissolve, which it will do. And then the third part is we consciously choose. Usually we're run by programs. Everything we're doing is automatic programs. We're not even realizing we're in reaction instead of response. So you just, with your hand on your heart, feeling and sensing your body, now that you've brought your attention within your body, you've slowed and deepened your breathing to create a shift in your nervous system. You can simply ask, what would it take for me to live in harmony now? Where you can ask, what's one thing I can do to restore joy and well-being in my life? And then just breathe into that. You do not need to answer this question. What you're doing is softening your body so that you can receive the awareness. What would it take for me to live my life in harmony now? And if you've done this, especially after you practice this a few times, you may begin to feel the energy of the question. Now, you do not need to answer this. And I'll explain that in a minute. So simply feeling the essence of the question, the energy, everything is vibration, and your body registers vibration and information. You're bringing your attention to a very different kind of information now. What would it take for me to live my life in harmony beyond what I imagined was possible? Just feel into that question, like you're letting your body and your cells drink it in. Relax your shoulders. And then whenever you're ready, you can begin to open your eyes. Maybe there's already a sense of something lighter. It doesn't matter. You've established something and you will receive that. So this is ABC, awareness. Bring your awareness and attention into your body. B, shift your breathing. So you come out of that pattern where you can't see anything or feel anything, and you just come into 2% more serenity. And then conscious choice. What would it take for me to live my life in joy and harmony beyond what I've ever imagined? Just a simple question, or it could just be, What would it take for me to feel love and joy? And you welcome that into your body. This is how the wisdom of your body works. The technology of your body, beyond your physical body, you are vibration. So really simple, but a powerful exercise.
So beautiful, simple, yet so profound. And it's very calming for your nervous system. And right now at this age and this time in the world when there's so much stress, so much chaos, uncertainty, and confusion, it feels like this would be such an amazing exercise for everybody.
It's essential, and it's so funny how, I was an ER doc, and we're doing, medications and procedures and life-saving actions. Today, right now, this is a life-saving action. You've got to get in your body. What happens when we're not? The fear gets amplified. We don't know what's true, what's not. What do I need to do? Who do I listen to? I have no idea. I'm so confused. And of course, the physiology that reflects that, where our body's in so much chaos. Fear, when you buy into fear and you live in fear, you can't know truth. You can't know what actions or behaviors will restore health. You cannot possibly know. You must come back into the body and breathe to relax your physical body before you could ever have that awareness. Your body is your portal. So you pick up awareness, you pick up insight, you're aware, you have wisdom. But you can't know any of that when the body's in that heightened, inflamed state. So it's really up to you to come back and create that shift.
Amazing. Amazing. Definitely. This is life-changing for people who are suffering from chronic conditions for years and years and years. And they went through the medical system, you went through the ringer, through a million different doctors, tried different solutions. And a lot of the times, unfortunately, information is missing that tools like this, such, seemingly simple tools, exist out there, and they would be so helpful, right?
There are a lot of, we can see right now we're kind of moving into a big metamorphosis of how we look at healthcare. We've had a disease care system for decades and decades, and now it's like we've kind of outgrown that. Whoa, what are the resources we need now? They're very different. And for some people, it may be a little scary, like, oh, nothing's working for me. When we come into this space, just through this ABC exercise, we actually become aware of things we may never have noticed before. This new foundation for a true healthcare system already exists. It's already been developed. There are many practitioners doing truly tremendous things that support health and awakening. But it takes a shift within us before we register that or encounter that or become aware of that, because it's a different frequency, it's a different thought. When we're in fear, and I know for me, when I was really sick, the question I was always asking was, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? And what was on my plan was like, what do I have to do to feel better? What do I have to do to feel better? Never was it, what's right about this I'm not getting? What's my body, my wisdom doing here? What's this process about, and how can I support myself through it? No, that wasn't the question. And also wasn't, how do I move through this process, right? What do I have to do to feel better is a very different question than how can I nurture my body through this? Mm-hmm. But what I found was my body has unthinkable wisdom, and there's never something wrong. It may feel wrong, but it was all the ways I did not want to meet my own pain, my own feelings of inadequacy, my own fear. And so to keep those at bay is like, run faster, do more, achieve more, go, try harder. And my whole life became this never-ending cycle of working harder, trying harder, doing better, improving. And that's exactly what made me sick. Like, that was an imbalance to push. And that's the pattern I see for a lot of women. Like, I don't want to give up. I don't want to succumb. If I stop and surrender, it will get worse. But nothing could be further from the truth. That simply isn't what was happening.
Wow, exactly. And somebody who you've gone through the mainstream medical system, and I do see shifts happening. It's very exciting. However, there's still a lot of work to be done in the system. Somebody who's been through it, what are a few things that you're seeing that you think could cause much more effect on changing the system into?
It's always about our personal awakening. We think it's out there. Got to change this thing out there. And even when like people awaken to the work I'm doing and they're like, oh my gosh, my friend needs this. My husband needs this. My mother needs this. It really is about be the change you wish to see in the world. If I can allow my own awakening and like where I'm uncomfortable that it is the way it is, where I'm uncomfortable that my partner is how he is, or my mother, or whoever in my life that I think needs to change, what actually is happening in me that I think this thing needs to, if they would just change, I'll feel better. If I can meet those spaces in me where I'm scared, where I'm frustrated, where I'm angry, I can allow my own deepening and my own awakening to share what's really my truth, what's really my heart, who am I? Because all of it's a co-creation. Everything that I see around me that I like or don't like is I'm a part of creating that. We're all in this together. And when I can begin to come back and presence myself, especially right now where there's so much, I'm going to protest this thing that I don't want, but I'm actually in my own fear and anger trying to shout it out to the world and make it better. You can't create joy from frustration. You can't create prosperity and harmony from anger. You can't, from fear, go and create abundance. Like, it is not possible. We must come back into our own state of like, whoa, XYZ just happened in the world or in my life. I feel so much, fill in the blank. Anger, fear, shame, resentment, powerlessness. It's going to come up. But if I'm putting it out there and trying to fight against that thing out there or improve the world out there, I lose all my power. If I come back in here and remember, I am powerful. Who do I need to be to live in harmony right here? Because when I live in harmony, it's like a lighthouse. You light up the world. It awakens others to the light that's in them. So there's nothing to fight. There's only, what would it take for me to awaken and be the medicine?
Yeah, and I could hear intuitively picking up maybe what some of the listeners might hear and have a question about that. There are circumstances around people that are different, and that's exactly what's happening in the world right now, in the conversation in the world, that certain people are in certain circumstances and others are in others. So pretty valid question, I think, from those people would be, okay, so this is reality for me. This is different, maybe difficult circumstances around me. So you're telling me I'm just being kind of,
Yeah.
You're telling me to be joyful and just la la la, happy-go-lucky, no matter what's around me?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a great question because people think getting present means joy, happy-go-lucky, when really it means aliveness, awakening. I'm here. Wow, there's anger. Wow, this powerlessness I bought into. And that's what inspires action that can really make a difference. That's what inspires true proactive choices instead of powerless choices, right? I'm gonna do this action. It doesn't matter if it's, protesting or writing a blog or starting a business or taking a nap, right? Any action we take has an effect, but when we're in powerlessness or fear, it has a very different effect than when we're in our own clarity. And so what I invite people to is like, take 10 seconds to get present to what's coming up in me right now. And as you breathe, it will clear so that you have the clarity, the insight, and the power to take real action. And even sometimes it's one word. One word, when I'm in the space of power and clarity, is more impactful than 1,000 words when I'm in fear and spin out and disconnection.
Something that just came up to me once while you were talking. I wasn't planning on it, so tell me if you're okay to go with it. But a tool that would be very useful that I work with my patients, and I know you do, EFT. Very, very useful tool. So when things like this are coming up, powerlessness, anxiety, fear, this would be a really good and pretty simple, weird looking tool, but it works. So maybe we could do a quick kind of example.
Yes. Okay, so EFT is a way to directly give new information to the brain and to the nervous system to dissolve old patterns of being, or patterns of thinking, or patterns of, physical pain in the body, you name it. What happens is, we don't realize it, but most of the time people are living in a program. So the same kinds of things come up over and over, right? Like, oh, this person said this and I'm so angry. Or, oh, this person said this, I never get to have what I need. No one pays attention to me. Or you have an illness and you keep trying to heal, but you're like, God, I just can't get a break. You live out these patterns repeatedly. And it's like, wow, different people, but the same situation over and over. Why is this happening? And I know for me, it was like, I got to work hard. I always had to work really hard for things. So it was like, what would it take for life to be easy? That's a different pattern. So when we're living these like mental archives, their belief systems, past traumas, just our perspective of ourselves and our world, unconscious, but still like running the show, it's really helpful to give the brain new information that lets those neutralize. It's not about be positive, don't be negative. It's not about duality and resistance. It's about neutral. Yes, I have this fear. Yes, XYZ happened to me. Yes, I have this feeling like I'm powerless and I can't do anything. And I choose to embrace myself exactly as I am. So you have this energetic suck, and then you have I choose to be at peace with what is, which neutralizes it and actually gives you your power back. It's been shown to be really powerful in reorganizing the brain. The brain is neuroplastic, so it can create new networks, new connections, new patterns of information and how it carries that awareness. And also new patterns in your body. Like we've seen the IgA levels, which is an immune component that helps fight infection or virus and keep you healthy, go up by like 120% when you do EFT tapping. So physiologic changes in the body, but also emotional changes, where mental emotional changes, you'll feel a lot more clarity, releases anxiety, and allows you to have more harmony in the body. So the first step is we just gently tap on the karate chop point outside the pinky edge of the hand. And you can just do this now and breathe in and breathe out. And we'll do what's called the setup phrase, where you're going to neutralize known and unknown, what's running the show, all these programs that are so toxic. And then the next point you tap on is inner eyebrow. So just above the bony ridge of your eyebrow. You could do one side, you could do both sides. It doesn't really matter. And then you just move to the outer eyebrow, and it doesn't need to be hard. It could just be very gentle tap underneath the eye, right on the bony ridge, underneath the nose, just above the upper lip, and then right on the chin. And we're going to do this as you become aware of what's going on in your body. But even just the tapping alone is restorative and nurturing to your nervous system. So underneath the collarbones, and that little soft area. Good. And then underneath the armpit.
That's the fun one.
That can be a little tender. And then right on top of the head. All right, and this part's real important. You just breathe in fully and slowly, and then breathe out. You may notice just the tapping alone relaxes your body, because you're actually harmonizing your nervous system These are meridian points. Definitely not something that has been arrived at through conventional medicine with the body as purely physical, but through the Chinese medicine system, it makes a ton of sense because they already understand that the body is vibrational and that we have energy currents moving through the body and communicating through the body. And in the last 30 years of conventional science, we've actually discovered this, like, whoa, this is what's happening in the body, and it makes sense. So it's begun to be adopted in bigger ways, but this is a pretty ancient practice, using the meridian channels and clearing energy. So we're going to do a little bit of tapping for that feeling of powerlessness. The important thing is when you start, feel what's happening in you. And that ABC tool we did in the beginning, if you practice that, set your alarm 3 times a day to just say instant elevation tool, and just practice. It can take 20 seconds. You could take 20 minutes if you want to, practice this more. But, this is like while I'm going about my day, I want to just integrate that presence. So I can just take a minute, even if it's while I'm in the middle of doing something. I'm aware of my body. Here's what's happening in me. Shift my breathing. Make a conscious choice. And that third part kind of happens automatically. So even if you just do A, B, set your alarm 3 times a day, you will awaken after like a week of this or less. You'll begin to register what's actually happening in you. So you're no longer living from reactivity. You're living from presence and conscious choice. So something happens. Somebody looks at you the wrong way. Somebody gives you the bird while you're driving, or you're like, oh God, I'm late. I don't like it. But you've been practicing awareness and you're like, this doesn't feel good. I'm riled up right now. I'm in my fight or flight. Okay, what's happening? Here I am. You can even just go, hi body. How are you? And you realize, whoa, I'm feeling, fill in the blank. I'm angry. I feel powerless. I feel hopeless. I feel embarrassed, fear, fill it in, whatever. Or you just go 1 to 10. 10 is something really extreme. 1 is pretty subtle, pretty mellow. And all you need to do is 1 to 10. How am I actually feeling right now? So even if you don't have the verbiage to decipher what's happening, you can do a 1 to 10. So before tapping, it's helpful to gauge where you're at. I'm super flared up. I am so in it right now. Or 1 is like, pretty easy peasy. So you just pick for yourself, what's my number? So I don't know if you have anything to offer there, if you've got some awareness, Anya, for...
Oh, I'm pretty easy peasy.
So if you think of a moment...
And it's a 7.
Or you can find a sector of your life where you're like, oh, I'm not feeling it now, but geez, when so-and-so does that thing, or, oh, I hope this doesn't happen, or, oh, I got to go back and do da-da-da.
Yeah.
Feel into something that's maybe in your life that's triggering. And then feel what's the number of that thing.
Yeah, so for me, what's coming up is what you talked about before. Have to work hard, have to get all these things done. Not enough time for everything. It's exciting projects, a lot of awesome things, but there's a lot. Good.
So it's great because life is going to trigger these, whatever they are, the energies that you're ready to release. So you want to feel into that, what's your number? Or you feel into like, oh my God, I can't believe what's happening in the world right now. There's fear. Or like, oh, I can't believe people are doing this and that. They should be doing blah, blah, blah. There's powerlessness. Who knows? You pick what is maybe arising and what's your number. And then you're going to just tap on the outer edge of the karate chop point. And we're going to kind of do a mix of both. So even though, and you can tap them together if you want to, even though I have to work so hard to make my life work, and you'll repeat after me and say it out loud. Even though I have to work so hard to make my life work.
You want me to repeat it? Oh,
yeah.
Hard. Even though working so hard to make my life work.
I choose to embrace myself fully.
I choose to embrace myself fully.
Even though this is just how it is for me and I have to work so hard.
Even though this is just how it is for me and I have to work extra hard.
I choose to love and accept myself.
I choose to love and accept myself.
Even though life is hard, it's been a struggle.
Even though life has been hard, it's been a struggle.
I choose to embrace peace now.
I would choose to embrace peace now.
Good. Inner eye. I acknowledge it's been so hard.
I acknowledge it's been so hard.
Outer eye. This idea, I have to try harder.
This idea that I have to try harder.
Under the eye. I have to do more.
I have to do more.
Under the nose. It's not enough.
It's not enough.
On the chin. This experience that it's never enough.
This experience that it's never enough.
Under the collarbone. Like I'm not enough.
Like I'm not enough.
Under the arm. And life is hard.
And life is hard.
Top of the head. And I don't know what to do.
And I don't know what to do.
Inner eye. I wonder what it would take.
I wonder what it would take.
To release what's underneath this.
To release what's underneath this.
Outer eye. To open up to something else.
Open up to something else.
Under the eye. Is there something else?
Is there something else?
Isn't this just reality?
Isn't this just reality?
Under the nose. It's been my reality.
It's been my reality.
And I honor that.
And I honor that.
The chin. I honor that I really care.
I honor that I really care.
And that's why I've tried so hard.
That's why I tried so hard.
Under the collarbone. But it's been out of fear.
But it's been out of fear.
I have been so afraid.
I've been so afraid.
Under the arm. And it's okay to acknowledge that now.
It's okay to acknowledge that now.
It's okay to acknowledge what I feel.
It's okay to acknowledge what I feel.
Top of the head. With what's going on in the world, what's going on in my life.
What's going on in the world, what's going on in my life.
It's felt out of control.
It felt out of control.
Inner eye. I felt powerless.
I felt powerless.
Outer eye. Like I don't know what to do.
Like I don't know what to do.
Under the eye. Like no matter what I do, it's not enough.
No matter what I do, it's not enough.
Under the nose. Feelings of powerlessness.
Feelings of powerlessness.
On the chin. It's okay for me to meet this.
It's okay for me to meet this.
Under the collarbone. I am bigger than these feelings.
I'm bigger than these feelings.
I'm bigger than these thoughts.
I'm bigger than these thoughts.
Under the arm. I can relax into what I'm feeling.
I can relax into what I'm feeling.
Top of the head. And begin to know my power now.
And begin to know my power now.
Good. Breathing in the nose, if you can. And slow breath out.
Amazing. Yeah, the EFT is so powerful. And the key is to find exactly what it is that's bothering you and kind of be like a...
Just sense, yeah, it doesn't even need to be that specific because sometimes we won't really get there. What I found is if I just tune into the body and you just do that first round on what you do have, like, I don't even know what I'm feeling, but I feel off. Whatever, it could be vague. That after that first round,
it starts coming up. Then it starts coming up.
Yeah, it will start to get clearer. If it's just a physical thing where you're like, oh my God, I have so much pain in my shoulders, what's underneath that will come up as you tap. I have a little mini EFT intro course on my website at drkimd.com /EFT. But if you just go to the main page, it's on the menu. And that's a great little, it takes you through a session for anxiety, for pain, for fatigue, I think for depression. It shows you like how do you tap on your own and use this work. So if you want to learn a little bit more, and I have a lot of videos on my YouTube channel as well. But it's I would say the one thing is use EFT to nurture yourself. What am I feeling? Okay, I'm going to acknowledge this. I'm going to nurture myself. Yes, it will help the pain dissolve. I've seen people within a minute, their pain is gone. Or the fatigue, their energy comes back. Yes. But if you're using it to make the pain go away, you're in a different energetic. You're like, I gotta make this go away. Oh, it's resistance. It's like, I don't want to embrace what is. I want to make it go away and feel better. What you resist persists, and it won't be as effective. But if you use EFT to nurture yourself, to love what is and where you are, that's when it has like unbelievable power to transmute that and create a different experience.
Amazing, absolutely. And using these tools every day for just maintenance, or if you are struggling with some chronic illness, or you're just struggling with the state of the world right now and you're in anxiety and fear and survival mode, these tools are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. How can people find you? You already mentioned a couple of resources.
Yes, they can subscribe at drkimd.com. There's a quiz on the front page that brings them some free resources and kind of gets a sense of like, where are you resonating and what's going to be most beneficial for you right now. And it guides you through those resources. I'm also on YouTube. You can subscribe, and we do a weekly live broadcast in the MindBody community in Facebook that we're taking the summer off for it, but right now, but we do this every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Mountain. So if you're in the MindBody community in Facebook, that's where I interact with my community. It's a free group. And then we usually do a Wednesday live Q&A, so people can interact with me there. We'll pick that up again in a few weeks after the summer.
You need a break too, right? Need something for yourself. Enjoy that mountain biking.
Yeah, I will. It's great to meet you.
You too. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for watching, and have a great day.